in Baldwin this evening, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. That's what we're seeing, that warning right now. And then it's going to be moving into Jacksonville pretty quickly. It's moving at 65 miles per hour. So you need to be seeking shelter immediately over Baldwin. Nothing is confirmed, but again, this is going to be a very hard storm to see if you do have visual on it, just because of the amount of rainfall that we're seeing with this particular storm this evening. So something to keep in mind, a lot of lightning and even gusty winds are definitely possible with this storm. And here's the timing. So if you're concerned, I'm going to keep this up for you guys, just in case you're watching us from these cities, especially in the city of Jacksonville. 5:05 p.m. potentially, that's when that storm is going to be arriving. Again, this warning goes until 5, but if this rotation can stay consistent, they may extend this warning even further down the line. So we're talking about you guys near the beaches. So nowhere to go, nowhere to go. So nowhere to go as this storm system continues to push to the east. Although if you're in the beaches, you're not under a warning, but start thinking about where you should go in case you do happen to be under a tornado warning.
And Erica, we did just receive a tweet, or rather on X, a post on X from the National Weather Service that if you are in Baldwin, seek shelter immediately right out there at 301, where, a good amount of people in Baldwin right now need to seek shelter immediately. A lot of homes as well as mobile homes in the area. If you're in a standalone structure, find an innermost room, not by a window. If you are in a mobile home and cannot find another option, that is more secure, find the most centrally located area away from windows that you can keep you and your family safe. So once again, the National Weather Service putting out on X right there this tweet, or rather this post on X, encouraging anyone, particularly in Baldwin, which is the westernmost tip of Duval County, to seek shelter immediately as this tornado warning makes its way out of Baker and into Duval County.
Let's put another tracker on this. So I want to refresh because we have the latest radar scan with this storm. And again, if you're in Baldwin, you need to be in your tornado shelter, whether that be in the most exterior portion of your home, whether that be a basement, maybe you don't have one, but stay away from those exterior walls and windows in your home and stay there over the next several minutes. Again, this warning expires at 5 o'clock. We have another 14 minutes left with this warning. And this is a pretty fast moving storm. It's moving at 65 miles per hour. So that's why we're going to see this storm move into this region pretty quickly. And so let's give you some updated times here as I update the speed and motion of this storm as it comes over areas of I-10, a very populated interstate as well, especially as we're getting close to this 5 o'clock hour this evening on your Saturday. That's something to keep in mind. If you have family members that commute during this time across I-10, or they're going somewhere, make sure that they know what is going on, as we do have this tornado warning until 5 o'clock again for Baker, Duval, Nassau counties, for the cities of Baldwin and Jacksonville. And so let's give you that updated timing there. So at 5:42 in Jacksonville, that's when that storm will be coming close to your area. At 4:55 in Cecil Commerce, at Caleb, 5:06 p.m. this evening, 5:16 in Cambon, and 5:35 in Riverside. Both of these areas, very populated areas. So that's something to keep in mind here over the next several minutes as this storm continues to push to the east. Again, this warning's until 5. And I think it's because they're going to wait and see if this storm system can get a little bit more rotation here before the 5 o'clock hour. If it does, then they are going to continue warning this. So I actually want to put another thing that we can see here on radar, because it does look like we may be seeing possibly something in our radar that is indicating to us that there may be something on the ground there. And I want to switch this to this tracker here, and it really tells us if we can see any sort of debris going into the atmosphere. The National Weather Service is highlighting that there is possibly some sort of indication that there's something being lofted into the atmosphere. And when we see it, kind of those bright colors on your screen, if we zoom into this area, that could be telling us that there could potentially be a tornado on the ground. Nothing is confirmed, but this is something that I'm concerned with, especially seeing this type of indication on our radar. So we're going to go back and we're going to see if there's any reports there on the ground, but this storm system is rotating. And like I said, a tornado could drop at any moment this evening. So something to keep in mind. if you're in Jacksonville, you need to be seeking shelter. Be ready to go into your shelter or go into the most interior portion of your home. Tornadoes don't often happen here, but it does happen with this storm system, and it could happen with this type of environment, especially with all of those conditions in place for this to occur. And this is something that we're going to be tracking throughout the rest of the evening as this storm continues to push into areas of Jacksonville and as it comes close to the beaches area as well. So I'm waiting to see if we can get any confirmation from the National Weather Service or any weather spotters if they see anything on the ground. So this is a little bit concerning, at least in terms of what our radar is indicating right now on the ground. But overall, we're going to continue to keep watching it. Stay in your shelter if you're in Baldwin. As the storm system pushes through your area, it'll move out of there quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised if over the next 15 minutes or so, you're out of harm's way in terms of this storm system. But again, we could see some damage in terms of wind damage, and we even have some pea-sized hail over that area. So seek shelter, stay in your shelter. We're going to continue tracking this and, of course, giving you the latest updates if there's anything confirmed on the ground, but you should be in your shelter regardless if there's a tornado on the ground or not, as this is a tornado warning that is issued at least through 5 o'clock, again, moving pretty quickly over areas of eastern Jacksonville and along the I-10 corridor this evening. And going back to our velocity scanner, we're seeing a little bit of that tight rotation. So you're seeing it here right over Baldwin, and that's why we said if you're in Baldwin, you need to be seeking shelter immediately, and that's going to be moving pretty much parallel to the I-10 corridor here over the next several minutes. So something to keep in mind, stay off the roads, stay in your tornado shelter as we continue to track this over. And even here locally, I think we just heard a rumble of thunder as those storms near even here locally in Jacksonville. So let's go back and show you a little bit of what's going on with that radar reflectivity here, just to give you an indication of, even though we are under a tornado warning, there's also going to be a lot of rainfall. So that's the concern with this, is if there is something on the ground, we will not be able to see it visually just because of the those neighborhoods that are under this warning. So you're seeing it here along Old Plank Road. That's really our biggest concern. Now the storm is just on the east side of Baldwin along that Highway 90 here, close to Winn-Dixie Parkway. You need to be in your shelter if you live over this area. You're hearing a lot of the thunder. You're seeing the lightning this evening, and even the heavy rainfall. Forest Trail Road, Middle Road, and even Otis Road this evening.
Hey, Jessica, can I butt in for a second? Because I've just been told by our producers, this is I-95, excuse me, guys, I-295, excuse me, near the University of North Florida, near total darkness right now. This is live cameras. You can see, somewhat make out what appear like taillights and headlights, and it looks like a lot of those taillights may have emergency blinkers on right now in near total darkness. This is Interstate 295 near the University of North Florida, where the rain is so bad we can barely make out anything. The rain is so severe, so strong right now, Jessica, as you were saying. As far as tornado warning goes, this is one with a significant amount of rain that is attached to it.
Yes, and you're also seeing, you can't really see anything. And that was kind of the story today. Either way, there was a lot of low visibility across our area, and that is because we have those dew points up. The dew point is pretty much close. The dew point temperature is pretty much close to our actual temperature. And so that just means it's very humid outside. And because of that, that's why this storm is producing those rainfall rates up to 5 inches of rainfall an hour. And that's why the atmosphere is conducive for these type of storms to even rotate this evening. And so all those ingredients very favorable, and they will continue to be favorable throughout the evening because you're also noticing it's very warm outside, muggy. Those are the ingredients we need. And yeah, you're looking there live, lightning strike close to the city of Jacksonville this evening, and you're definitely seeing the dark
Erica, this
clouds.
is the Ortega River skycam we're looking at right now.
Yes, and you're definitely seeing, the atmosphere, the storm starting to inch closer to this area. So that's what we're concerned with, not only because of the tornado warning, but again, lightning also is very dangerous. Stay inside if you can. Do not be outdoors with this type of situation. If you have to go anywhere, delay it here over the next several minutes as this tornado warning is ongoing until 5 o'clock this evening. And I'm continuing to track this radar, but you're seeing there from our live cam as well. Just very low visibility because of the rainfall. And I think this is, what are we looking at? Airport. Okay, so this is our airport cam. And of course, I'm sure they are also delaying some of the flights coming out of this area because of the tornado warning that's ongoing again for Baker, Duval, Nassau until 5 o'clock this evening. As the rain inches closer to this region, a lot of lightning occurring. We're even hearing it here locally at our station as the storm inches closer, but it is a fast mover. And once we get through the 5 o'clock hour, we'll know more about if this storm continues with that tight rotation. But this is also the same storm that was warned just an hour ago over our area. You're seeing those low clouds in the region and a lot of lightning being picked up by our radar as well. And something else that you need to be concerned with this storm is the potential of seeing some damaging winds of excess of 65 miles per hour with these storms. Now let's go back to the radar here, exact track radar, and we're continuing to track pretty much where the storm is going. And I'm looking here and seeing if we have any sort of indication that this is still rotating, and that's still very prevalent, very weak rotation, but it's still enough for the National Weather Service to warn this storm. And you're seeing that warning also including areas of Jacksonville, Beverly Hills, Cambon, and areas just to the east of Baldwin. So Baldwin looks like that's the center of the storm has just passed to the east. If you're in this area, continue to seek shelter. But over the next 15 minutes or so, I think you'll be out of harm's way. Now we have 5 more minutes left with this warning, and I have to check and see if the National Weather Service will actually extend it. And so it looks like they have issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Duval County, Northeast Florida. So it looks like they won't extend it at least for that 5 o'clock hour, but we still have another 5 minutes. And but the potential of seeing 60-mile-per-hour winds over Jacksonville and maybe up to half an inch of hail possible with this storm. And so that's something to keep in mind. We may see some gusty winds and hail with this storm system, but looks like they will maybe allow this storm or this warning to expire again. This goes until 5 o'clock, but they've extended that severe thunderstorm warning for 5:30. So it looks like at least the tornado threat in Jacksonville could potentially be lessened, but stay alert. Like we saw earlier, this is the same storm that produced that tornado warning earlier this afternoon as it continues to push into areas of Jacksonville and even close to the beaches. So if you're watching us, you're not in this warning, but you're planning on heading out to the beaches for your Saturday, just stay alert, have that weather app on handy this evening as this storm continues to track. This is the one that continues to produce rotation, and so we're going to keep our eye on it throughout the rest of the evening as this storm continues to push close to Jacksonville, just to the east of Baldwin along I-10 with all of that rainfall as well. Just something to keep in mind. Stay inside if you can on this Saturday. It is a very active evening that we have across our region.
And we are continuing to stay on air. You're watching live coverage of News4JAX of a tornado warning for Baker, Duval, and Nassau County for the next 3 minutes. This is the Ortega Skycam. As Erica was saying, you could see the lightning just kind of continually going off. This is the tower cam from Ortega right across the river there, showing, I believe that's the downtown skyline right there. So this is a system that we've been tracking starting in Columbia County, working its way through Baker, and now into the much more heavily densely populated West Jacksonville right now. This is the airport right now, where you can see just so little visibility from this system that is moving through our area. And it's really been a major visibility issue all over Jacksonville, because we showed you UNF not too long ago. We're seeing the airport here. We're seeing Ortega. So it's a broad ranging system that's really impacting the entire city. What are we looking at there, guys? I can't even tell. This is the beach right now. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it really is an entire city-wide system right now that is impacting a lot of areas. This is the beach. I can't even tell what we're looking at. It's just hazy and foggy as we continue to monitor this system. But the area that's really been in the most concern for those tornadoes rather, for the next minute 45 seconds has been the west side over near Baldwin. Erica, what can we expect for the next 90 seconds?
Yeah, so, over the next couple of minutes here, so I am seeing some good news with this. Looks like the rotation is pretty much not there right now with this storm from what I'm seeing with the velocity. So they might let this tornado warning expire here, but it's still something to keep an eye on. We still have another 2 minutes on this warning. They have extended this particular warning with a severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're outside or you live in Jacksonville, you're hearing the thunder and the lightning. And as this storm moves over your area, it's going to produce the possibility of seeing up to a quarter or maybe even more of hail in size and even 65-mile-per-hour winds. So again, stay prepared in case you do happen to be under a tornado warning. This is the kind of atmosphere we're working with this afternoon and evening, and this will continue as this particular storm. This is the one that keeps producing this broad rotation within it as it moves closer to Jacksonville and into the beaches. But for now, looks like if you're anywhere in Baldwin, that storm is now to the east of your area, still on top of I-10, a very heavily driven interstate there this evening, and that'll continue to push to the east. But right now, it looks like at 5 o'clock, they're not extending it from what I'm seeing from the latest from the National Weather Service in terms of a tornado warning, but they're continuing it with a severe thunderstorm warning. Again, severe thunderstorm warning can still produce 65-mile-per-hour winds. Be prepared for power outages and a lot of lightning. It's going to be a loud one here over the next several minutes, if not already. We're definitely hearing it here at the station as we're in downtown Jacksonville of all the thunder that's continuing to move. So stay alert this evening. We're going to come in if we need to in terms of if there's a tornado warning in your area and give you the latest information. But for right now, looks like they did allow for that tornado warning to expire, and that severe thunderstorm warning goes until 5:30 p.m. for Duval County.
And we are going to continue monitoring this on news4jax.com with live updates coming up on the 6 o'clock news. So stick with news4jax.com. If you don't have it already, download the Weather Authority app right now to get the latest updates and the latest radar where you're at. We will be back here for the 6 o'clock news with the latest, but for now we're going to send it back to regularly scheduled programming.
So we have a new circulation that is producing some sort of tornado warning here, or tornado warning until 5:30 p.m. Also includes Duval County to the north of Jacksonville, so along I-95. It does include the airport, Jacksonville International Airport, as we do have a little bit of an indication of rotation. Now, it is very broad, nothing strong, but it could potentially become a little bit stronger as it starts to move to the east over our area. And you're definitely seeing that here with the center of the storm over Old Plank Road on just on the tail end of Cambon this evening along the I-10 corridor. We do have a severe thunderstorm just to the south of it that also could potentially produce 65-mile-per-hour winds and maybe even some hail this evening. So as this storm pushes through our area here over the next several minutes, we're going to keep our eye on it again until 5:30 this evening for Duval County in the city of Jacksonville. So let's actually track it out for those of you concerned about where the potential of this track or where the storm could be heading. And you're seeing that rotation. So if we take a look at our radar here, and let's switch to links for our radar just so we can get a better picture of where exactly we're seeing this rotation. But over the city of Jacksonville, and it is moving at about, it's moving east at 25 miles per hour. So it's a slow moving storm, and that's a concern as it slowly moves over areas along the I-10 corridor and just close to the Jacksonville area. So I'm going to go ahead and put a tracker on this storm. And it's a little bit slower. Like I said, the first tornado warning we were covering was moving a little bit slower, but faster. But this one's moving at about 25 miles per hour. And we're going to go ahead and put that tracker, and we're going to do the entire tornado warning so you have a better idea of when this will start to move over your area. So at around 5:21, about 10 minutes away here, this storm will be right over the city of Jacksonville. At 5:18 over Riverside, at 5:26 over Arlington, And so that's what we're seeing this evening as the storm continues to push through our region. And again, this is the same storm that continues to produce rotation in this storm, and that as it moves over just to the north, on the north side of Jacksonville, possibly coming close to areas of just on the east side of Jacksonville along the St. Johns River there. That's something of concern as we continue to track this out. So you're seeing there a live view of what it looks like from our Jacksonville International Airport. Very, very moist environment that we're working with. You cannot see the airport. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some delays here soon as the storm continues to move through this area, but this is the type of atmosphere we're working with. And look at all those low clouds. You cannot see the skyline of Jacksonville, but you're definitely noticing all that lightning. You're maybe hearing it right now if you live close to this area. This is just a very, very saturated atmosphere. That warm, moist air. So it's really making way for the atmosphere to be conducive of this tornado warning. And we're going to keep our eye on it because I am concerned what happens with it down the line. If they continue to warn it, that means areas from Dames Point, Mayport, possibly Little Talbot Island, Fort George, and possibly on the south side of Amelia Island, you may be under this tornado warning as this is tracking to the northeast of our region. So if I just read out your city and you're hearing us right now, start thinking about where you need to go in case you are under a tornado warning, whether that be in the most exterior portion of your home or if you have a basement. Now, taking a live look from our Riverside Skycam, it's pretty dark. We're about to get sunset here over the next 30 minutes, and that's also another concern with this tornado warning. As we get it to be dark, you're not going to be able to see the rain. You're not going to be able to see if there's anything on the ground. So this is why it's important for you to take these tornado warnings very seriously. You need to be seeking shelter. But overall, this is what we're working with. It's been very drizzly. It's been very foggy over our area. And as the storm pushes through, you're going to hear how much it's packing a punch. And we just heard a very loud lightning strike or thunder here that is moving over downtown Jacksonville. This is close to where we're located.
Hey, Eric, it's Scott Johnson here. Yeah, this is really interesting. You're watching continuing coverage of an ongoing tornado warning that we've been tracking pretty consistently since 3 p.m. that started over in Columbia County and Lake City, moved its way over to Baker, and now if you're in Jacksonville, you're seeing it, you're hearing it. This has been, lost the signal there. We'll get a different camera back up. This looks like it's I-95 toward down on Hendricks in downtown right now. We are hearing that thunder over the downtown core where we're located right now. A lot of people are still out driving on I-95. This has been something that, it has been really just, they cancel the warning, then they bring it back. Then they cancel it again, then they bring it back. And we've seen that it's worked its way out at least toward the beach as far as the coverage of the intense cloud cover and that constant lightning that we're seeing all over there. This has been a very wet system, Erica has been telling us, that has come with the threat of the tornado that worked its way into the west side. You can see, I believe that's probably lightning impacting the signal there on what I believe is the Ortega River camera. Guys, could you repeat that in my ear one more time? Yeah, this is the camera. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you guys, but back to what we're saying here. Erica, we are continuing to monitor this as it works its way in toward Jacksonville. This is really something, in addition to the tornado warning, that's impacting the entire city and the county of Duval right now.
Yes, and associated with this warning is all that dangerous lightning, even the strong winds. So for now, we're going to continue to keep an eye on it. And actually, the rotation is just on the south end of where we're seeing the polygon. So it's just on the outskirts. It's potentially just north of Cedar Hills along the I-95 corridor, south of Normandy, Marietta. You could potentially be also under the threat of a tornado here right now. So if you live in this area, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. And so I'm just waiting to see if there's anything confirmation of a tornado on the ground. Of course, we will not be able to see it because of the amount of rain. You just saw on those live cameras that you're seeing right now on your screen.
This is I-95 in Atlantic, I'll say. This is right in the downtown core. can't see a thing.
Yeah, and that poses a danger for this storm system. If there is a tornado on the ground, you will not be able to see it, but you may be able to hear it. And this is why it's very important that you're seeking shelter. If you're listening to us and you live in this area, you got that tornado warning alert on your phone. You need to be in the most interior portion of your home, in a closet, in a bathroom that doesn't have those exterior windows or walls. That is your safest spot to seek shelter during a tornado warning. And you're already hearing the loud thunder that's moving through. So not only are we under the threat of tornadoes, but we're also seeing some pretty strong and frequent lightning with this storm. And that's just telling us that this storm is pretty strong and also a lot of rainfall. We're seeing some very high rainfall rates, so we could also be seeing a flood threat over our area. And not only that, but gusty winds up to 65 miles per hour, and even hail is possible with the storm. So that's just the type of storm system we're dealing with here as it inches closer to the Jacksonville area. The rotation is just on the south end of where we're seeing this warning. So along the I-95, 295 corridor and parallel to I-10. It's coming very close to Jacksonville as we speak. So we're going to keep tracking it. But of course, that tornado warning going until 5:30 p.m. A lot of that rainfall. The heaviest has not even moved into Jacksonville yet. So that's knocking on your doorstep. The heavy rainfall is going to be in your area over the next 5 minutes, and all of that frequent lightning that continues to push over our area. And so if I take a look at radar, I'm seeing a concerning signature with what we're seeing right now as that storm system continues to push through. And if we can put links 1 up there so I can show you what's going on in terms of our reflectivity radar as the storm system continues to produce a very interesting signature here. And you're seeing that. That's just telling us that the storm is starting to become it's becoming robust, so it is strengthening maybe possibly a little bit, and it's just coming close to Cedar Hill. So it's kind of in between the warning, the tornado warning and the severe thunderstorm warning as it pushes up over this area. So this concerning signature right here, as it becomes strong, and you can see the rotation here, somewhere in this area, over areas, and as it moves along the I-10 corridor and close to Jacksonville, that's our main concern. But this is until 5:30, so that means it'll arrive over your area right before 5:30. You're starting to get in on that heavy rainfall just on the west side of Jacksonville, eventually coming your area, and a lot of lightning. So continue to track this, but that tornado warning is still being issued for 5:30 until the rest of the evening. And so it looks like we just got a new tornado warning. So they have extended this until 5:45 p.m. Our phones all just went off here on the station, and that's the latest update with the National Weather Service. So I'm going to read this with southeastern Duval County and northeastern Florida until 5:45. That's a new tornado warning. So that's on the south side. So we were just talking about that signature that I was concerned for. This is the one that we were talking about here. That's why they have warned it, because this is indicating that the storm is strengthening, and as it pushes into areas from the St. Johns River into possibly the beaches, that's why they have warned this storm system. So that's what we're seeing, the rotation, this tight indication that this storm is rotating, and that's why they have warned this area until 5:45 p.m. Now we have 2 tornado warnings, both in the north and south side of Jacksonville. If you're listening to us and you just got that alert on your phone, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. This could drop a tornado at any moment, and that's why I'm a little bit concerned with the signature right now. And so I'm going to take a look at what's going on with velocity here and take a look at if we're seeing anything in our radar right now.
And while you do that, Erica, I mean, you're watching continuing coverage of this tornado warning that is essentially over the entire city of Jacksonville until 5:45 right now. The National Weather Service has just updated us, extending what is on your screen. It says 5:30. We're going to update that as soon as we can. It now is being extended until 5:45, going into southeast Jacksonville. So think the south side, think Deerwood. There's the change. You are looking right now, I think, at the camera in Ortega, where you can't see a thing across the water. The weather system is so intense, and I'm frankly surprised it's lasted as long as it has, because it seemed to be lightening up a little as it came out of Lake City, but it has just grown. And this is the Jacksonville Airport right now. Also, visibility is almost non-existent up at the airport right now on the north side. So you're seeing up north side in Ocean Way right here by the airport. You're seeing south side headed toward Deerwood until 5:45. The west side's been affected. This is really affecting the entire city right now. We're in the downtown core, and we keep hearing the thunder above us. What am I looking at now, guys? This is tower cam in downtown. Couldn't see a thing. Looks like this is the airport again. Can barely see a thing. Visibility is almost non-existent over the entirety of the city right now, as the city is under siege by this tornado warning, this intense rain, this thunder, this low visibility. Get to somewhere safer now until 5:45 when we know the threat of the tornado, which is the biggest concern right now, has passed. And then once again, what does that mean? That means an interior room. That means staying away from windows. That means staying off the roads, which, as you can see, are very difficult to drive on because visibility is almost non-existent. So once again, what do? You go to an interior room without windows. Cover yourself with a mattress in a bathroom if possible. Listen for that freight train sound. That is the indicator that a tornado may have all of a sudden formed where you were at. So we are continuing to monitor this over pretty much the entire Jacksonville area for about the next 28 minutes, Erica.
Yes, and that's a concern. It's not only just north of Jacksonville. With that newly issued tornado warning, that is going to extend for our areas, including the beaches on the east side of the St. Johns River. So that also includes areas along the I-95 corridor, along the I-10 corridor from 295, and that also includes our neighborhoods along Highway 90, close to Jacksonville Beach, Atlantic Beach, Ponte Vedra. You're not in this tornado warning, but if this system continues to show signs of rotation, I wouldn't be surprised if over the next hour or so that you would be under some sort of warning. So I want you guys, if you live in that area or watching us, start thinking about where you need to seek shelter, because this could definitely pose a threat, as of course that strong signature we were looking at earlier on radar is of concern just from what we were seeing from our reflectivity and even seeing a little bit of rotation. And again, this is just a live look from our area region wide, and there's from, I think that's the Jacksonville International Airport. And it's very, very low visibility. It's very muggy. You're not going to be able to see anything if you were to look outside. And that's why these tornado warnings are very dangerous, especially as we get sunset here over the next 20 minutes or so. It's going to be dark, and dark tornado warnings pose a danger. You're not going to be able to see anything. So take these tornado warnings seriously. Start thinking about where you need to go. If you're under a tornado warning, this atmosphere is very conducive for it. So not only with these storms, but we also have more storms right behind these that will be pushing through our area pretty much all evening long. So I want you guys to stay alert, take those warnings seriously, and even if you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, you need to be paying attention to what's going on in the weather, because these tornado warnings will just pop up, and that's why you need to know where to go, especially today. It's very important during these types of warnings. So right now we're taking a live look from our Artiga Skycam, and you're not seeing anything. The city of Jacksonville is under the clouds, under the heavy rainfall, and what you are seeing though is the lightning that continues to illuminate the sky. It's very loud as it's coming over the city of Jacksonville, some of the initial heavy rainfall, but the center of the storm is still on the west side, on the southwest side of Jacksonville, right over Artiga, just to the east of the Highway 90. It's pushing close to Riverside. I'm a little bit concerned about where this is going, especially as it comes close to Riverside. If you live in Riverside, you need to be in your safe zone, whether that be the most interior portion of your home. We're talking about closets, bathrooms that don't have any exterior walls or windows. Seek shelter at least over the next several minutes until this warning. This warning goes until 5:45. That's why they have warned this system. They were seeing rotation on both sides of the city of Jacksonville, from the north even to the west and east, and southwest and east of Jacksonville as it's crossing over the St. Johns River. And so that's something we're going to be tracking here as it crosses over that area.
And Erica, if I could throw in, I mean, if it's Riverside, that means you're Avondale, that means you're Murray Hill, that means up into Moncrief, that whole section, not geographically that far apart from one another. So if you're really in that core, going from downtown up into Northwest and West Jacks, you really need to take caution right now. You need to take precautions. You need to get to your home. You need to stay off the roads. If you're not at home, if you're in a business or some other building, take shelter in it, in an interior room, until this is passed in the next 25 minutes. Once again, that's Riverside, Avondale, Murray Hill, Northwest Jacks, Moncrief, all the various sections through down 17. That's the section that really just kind of north of the river, north of the downtown core, Edgewood, Lackawanna, Normandy. All these areas are really coming to this right now. And thank you for zooming in. All that Cassett Avenue corridor. And I do want to point out, these are all areas where we've seen significant flooding in years. So just something to keep in mind with the amount of rain we're seeing, that is a possibility. But in the immediate concern, in Brooklyn, in those areas, and over towards San Marco, which is not totally in it yet, but this is a thing that is going to be continuing for the next 20 minutes or so, that you really need to take precautions to make sure you and your family are safe.
Yeah, and zooming into this area, if you see your city on the screen, you need to be in your shelter, whether that be in Riverside, Avondale, along I-10, Normandy, St. John's Park, Lake Shore, even Ortega. You need to be seeking shelter. That storm is right over your area, and we do have 2 tornado warnings. They're parallel to the I-95 corridor, I-10, and that is because the rotation of this storm is right in between these areas. And so that's what we're seeing right now this evening with this tornado warning.
And Eric, I want to point out just if you're listening to this right now and you're a News4JAX viewer, please send us your photos. You can upload them immediately to Snapjacks. We'd like to see what's happening in your area so we can show the community what you are seeing. Once again, go to Snapjacks and upload your photos. Let us know your area of town, what you're seeing. We'll get them on the news or on news4jax.com because we want to know what's happening in your area. Upload them to Snapjacks. And my producer's talking in my ear. Could you please repeat that? And please do it safely once again. Yes, thank you for that reminder. Do not go out of your way to get those images. This is something, if you're able to get it safely, please send it in. Do not go into an unsafe situation. We do not want photos that were taken in an unsafe manner. But if you're able to safely take any photos and upload them to Snapjacks with what's going on in your area, please let us know. If you're able to safely take photos, you can upload them to Snapjacks, Erica.
Yes, and so it's very important to, if you're under a tornado warning, you need to be seeking shelter. Now, if you live in the beaches, you still have a little bit more time. If you needed to run home real quick and go into shelter, the storm will be over your area over the next 15 minutes. So if you live anywhere just on the east side of Jacksonville from Beechwood and along Highway 90, you still have a little bit of time, but the storm will move over your area pretty quickly. So know where to go as these tornado warnings continue here. And I'm just reading the latest updates. Nothing is confirmed on radar, but it looks like it is going to be weak as it right now, at least the rotation is crossing the St. Johns River. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens with the storm system as it right now is crossing the St. Johns River on the south side of Jacksonville. And as it moves over that area, we're going to wait and see if the National Weather Service will extend the tornado warning out to areas from Atlantic Beach, Jacksonville Beach, even Mayport, and just south of Amelia Island there. So continue to track this area, but there you're seeing on your screen is the rainfall, the rain droplets on the camera, people using their hazard lights so you can see them on the roadways. It's not recommended to drive in these kinds of conditions, but if you can stay out of harm's way, stay home and seek shelter, or maybe you're on the roadway and you need to head indoors, stop anywhere and locally and get inside as the storm continues to push through our area. Also heavy rainfall. You do not want to be driving in this as it's very low visibility.
Yeah, this is Interstate 10 at Edgewood. It looks like that's just awful timing. So look at the right now. Guys, could you go back to that shot? Could we go back to the shot we just had on the screen right now, the disabled semi-truck? Okay, I understand they're working on it, and we're trying to do this in real time. But as you can see, you have a disabled semi right there. So that's Interstate 10 at Edgewood. So you can imagine what traffic is like right there. This is an indicator, even past the end of the tornado warning, you may want to avoid traveling for a little bit if you can. So you have a disabled semi there in some fashion. He's starting to slowly creep and move, but this is just in the middle of chaos out there on the interstate right now. So you have heavy rain, low visibility, concerns over the tornado warning, and possibly some backups on one of our 2 biggest roads in the entire region right now, Erica.
Yes, and looks like we are still seeing some even gusty wind reports coming in from Herlong, gusting at 43 miles per hour. So that could make way for some damage across our region. So we're also looking out for the wind damage in our area, especially as this tornado warning continues to push. Right now, the circulation right over the St. Johns River, but it's coming close to Bowden, St. Nicholas, Hogan here, and even Miramar Terrace over the next several minutes as it's crossing right now the St. Johns River. And that is our main concern with the storm system. If we can, as you can see there on your screen, what we were seeing with the signature on radar from our reflectivity scan, this is just another way of looking at the storm. This signature right here is why they prompted this tornado warning until 5:45. This just indicates that the storm is strong and it's still rotating, but this circulation is now, like I said, moving over the St. Johns River. If you live anywhere in those cities I just read off on the south side of Jacksonville along I-95, you need to be in your shelter as the center of the storm will continue to push over this area. If you're just north of Jacksonville, they are still continuing that warning until 5:30 this evening. So we're going to wait and see with the direction of the storm system. If it pushes any further north, they may extend the warning across areas just north of Atlantic Beach. But it all depends on the track of the storm right now as it pushes over the St. Johns River here and coming close to the south side estates along I-95. This is our concern right now this evening with the storm. It's still rotating. As you're seeing there on radar, the signature is still pretty strong, but looks like the rotation is a little bit weaker from what we were seeing earlier this evening. So we're going to continue to keep our eye out. Again, the north tornado warning just north of Jacksonville is until 5:30 p.m. and on the south side until 5:45, knocking on Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach, and Jacksonville's beach doorstep. So you guys are not under tornado warning, but start thinking about where you're going to go if you do happen to be under tornado warning. You live in these areas, try to get home or stay home if you can over the next hour or so.
And if you are watching us through the newsforjax.com app, our live continuing coverage, or however you're seeing us, like down in Deerwood, like I see a lot of the south side, a lot of people are out right now shopping. It's a Saturday night. This is our drive camera right now in downtown. People are out. Find a way to avoid driving if you don't have to. Get to a secure location. Get in a secure building if you're out shopping or in a store or out for Saturday night. Avoid being outside for the next 17 minutes until this is finally passed. Once again, this is live drive cam right now. That looks like the sheriff's office right down on Bay Street, going right through the Bay Street corridor, right next to the river. Visibility is awful. So if you can, avoid driving because this is what you're going to run into. If you don't have to go out, I would avoid it because the drive right now is a rough one. You can wait it out, wait 15 minutes, and we, of course, will get it to you. Once again, I want to ask you if you were able to safely, and I cannot emphasize the word safely enough, take any pictures. We'd love to see what's going on in your part of town through our Snapjacks at newsforjax.com. Upload the pictures, the Snapjacks of what's happening in your part of Duval County, where in addition to the rain, visibility is just bad. I believe this is the airport up in Ocean Way on the north side, where it is just continually to be bad. It's bad out on out in Ortega. It's bad out toward the beach. This is the Ortega cam right now. Look at that. Usually that's a typical beautiful shot of the skyline. All we see is what I appear are flashes of lightning occasionally and just that intense cloud and fog and rain coverage. You can't see much. This is the beach. Can't see a thing. Just fogged in with rain, lightning. It is just a bad night out there. Hopefully it will pass over soon, but this tornado warning with your continuing coverage on Channel 4 News for Jax of this tornado warning until 5:45 for pretty much the entirety of Duval County. If you're out in it, get to safety, stay in a safe room until this is passed in the next 15 minutes. We're joined right now by Weather Authority meteorologist Erica Lopez.
Yes, and it looks like they have let that northern tornado warning expire on the north side of Jacksonville. But if you live south, city of Jacksonville itself is not under a tornado warning. But just crossing the St. Johns River from San Marcos, St. Nicholas, Miramar Terrace, Larson, and along the I-95 corridor all the way down to Bowden, San Jose, you're still under that tornado warning along Highway 1. That's where they're still allowing this tornado to go until 5:45 p.m. So the northernmost tornado warning has been allowed to expire because the rotation continues to be on the south side of this tornado warning. So, like I said, it was crossing the St. Johns River, now coming into areas close to Riverside, Bowden, Lakewood, San Jose, along the Phillips Highway, just on the outside of San Marco. Jacksonville, again, you're not under this tornado warning, the city itself, but areas to the south and to the west and east, you're still under that tornado warning. It's going to come close to the Highway 90 area and close just on the other side of the St. Johns River. So that's what we're watching right now. No reports of this being a confirmed tornado on the ground, but that does not mean that you should not be seeking shelter. You need to be in your tornado safe zone right now. And this storm is also packing a punch over our area as winds continue to gust in excess of 40 to 45 miles per hour. And there you're seeing where the storm is. Some of the heavy rainfall continues to move over the city of Jacksonville. So although you're not under a tornado warning, heavy rainfall continues to be a threat, and even that frequent lightning over our area. We've had significant amount of lightning strikes over our region. But as this storm now looks like it is weakening and continues to push to the east, the lightning won't be as frequent, but still something you need to be careful of. Stay indoors here over the next several minutes. It looks like our threat is starting to decrease as it moves closer to the beaches, but it's still going on until 5:45 p.m., that tornado warning this evening.
And it looks, Erica, like I don't want to overlook Arlington. A big section of Arlington north of Atlantic Boulevard looks like it's right on the cusp of that tornado warning. So if you are in Arlington near the Expressway, near Atlantic Boulevard, that corridor up by University Boulevard, this is impacting you right now. And you want to take note, what are we looking at here? That has to be awful downpour. That is our tower camera. Is that downtown, guys? Yeah, this is the downtown core right now. This is all our tower cameras picking up. The light is not gone yet, but it's pitch black out there because the sun's starting to set, coupled with that intense downpour right now that is affecting downtown. This is downtown Jacksonville right now. It should be lit up and bright. This is the beach right now. You should be able to see something. I think that might, nope, you see nothing. This is just a downpour, a washout. You just need to be cautious out there, particularly for the next 12 minutes. This is the airport where you're continuing to see that low visibility, but for the next 12 minutes, this tornado warning is in effect for Duval County. Be safe out there.
And let's take a live look at what our radar, what's going on in our radar right now, because the heavy rainfall continues to fall over that region. Like we were just looking at those live tower cameras. Sunset is right now, so it's going to get dark. You're not going to be able to see very much if you do happen to be driving. Even if you're not in this tornado warning and you're watching us, if you're on the north side from Jacksonville, even close to the Jacksonville International Airport, stay home. This heavy rainfall continues over that area. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get some locally aerial flood warnings over that area, but overall this tornado warning. The good news is it looks like this storm is starting to weaken. This is the same storm that produced those tornado warnings earlier near Lake City and now has moved over the Jacksonville area on the south side. Now it's going to come close and it's potentially right over the I-95 corridor right before you get to the St. Johns River here. And as it pushes to the east, it'll come close to Springdale, Hogan, and even Beechwood, Sandalwood, Oakwood Villa. These are the areas that need to be in their shelter right now as this tornado warning continues. This will go through at least over the next 10 minutes. We still have 10 minutes on this warning, and of course, keeping my eye out to see if the National Weather Service is thinking about extending this warning. But overall, the gusty winds and quarter-sized hail is possible with this storm as it starts to push into areas on the east side of the St. Johns River. But again, you're looking at where that warning is. And this is a live look from our downtown camera. A lot of heavy rainfall. This area is not under a tornado warning, just on the south side of this region. But you're seeing a lot of rainfall. The sun has set, so it'll start to get dark here very quickly. You're seeing some ponding on the road right there, so making way for a very dangerous drive in the city of Jacksonville itself. So even though you're not under a tornado warning, the flood threat will be pretty dangerous, especially with that low visibility visibility across our region. That's really going to pose a danger as we get this sunset. Very dark. Looking at our Jacksonville International Airport camera here, you're not seeing any flights going out because they were under that tornado warning. So I wouldn't be surprised if you are traveling later this evening, heading out, you may run into some delays here. But overall, that tornado warning is not over the Jacksonville International Airport. It's on the south end of Jacksonville, but that tornado warning goes for Duval County until 5:45 p.m. this evening. And we're going to keep an eye on it. We still have about 10 more minutes of the storm. But if you do live, again, from Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach, along A1A, you need to be thinking about where you're going to go if you do happen to be under a tornado warning as this storm is inching closer.
Erica, we have video just into our newsroom from Weather Authority meteorologist Kitty Garner of Riverside area, where fire trucks she apparently saw fire trucks responding to some sort of call. And we've seen in some of our other shots video of like police officers responding on Interstate 10 to some calls. So obviously a very busy evening for first responders out there who are having to, deal with calls that come in. But once again, this is the Riverside area right now, just constant pelting of rain on the area. So in addition to the threat of tornado, which is going to expire in about 8 minutes here, we're just dealing with an intense downpour. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing some standing water, some possible flooding in areas of the city here, because it is it's really socked the city here in the last hour. I don't even know which area we're looking at right there. This is Ortega. Yeah, the visibility, as bad as it was, is even worse. I can't see a thing down there as the camera is struggling to even broadcast a signal. This is the airport right now that we have continued to watch, where visibility remains low. It is a wet one out there, and you are about 7.5 minutes away from, we hope, this tornado warning expiring. But once again, you're watching live extended coverage. And down in St. Johns County, let's not overlook that. You're looking live at World Golf Village right now, where visibility is not that great down in northern St. Johns County, as well as we look at World Golf Village here. So just keep that in mind, that while the fix of the main part of the tornado warning is that section of Duval County that we've been showing you, other parts of our viewing area, like there and like out here at Mayport, are impacting as well. So as this starts to move toward places like Mayport, where we're looking at right now, just kind of be cautious, be cognizant of your surroundings. If you don't have to drive in this, particularly as the rain goes down or as the sun goes down, I would highly recommend not driving if you don't have to. Avoid the roads until you feel comfortable going back out on it. But we've been monitoring this tornado warning. We've got about 6.5 minutes left. And then this is our tower cam right now. And I just want to see if our news department is listening and could confirm this. I've just received word that Fernandina Beach may have canceled the lighted Christmas parade scheduled for 6 p.m. This was sent to me. We need to confirm that. I don't have any details on the lighted Christmas parade in Fernandina Beach, but there might be a cancellation, maybe something our news department can work on confirming for us here in short order. But we are continuing to monitor this situation all across the city, and really up into Nassau too. Nassau's seeing a lot of it as well. This is the airport where we're seeing a lot of low visibility, but we are continuing to monitor this. Live coverage on News4JAX, 6 minutes. It looks like to my producers, it looks like the Fernandina Beach Police Department and City of Fernandina Beach government may put this out on Facebook. If we could go confirm this, that the Christmas parade up in Fernandina at 6 o'clock has been canceled, maybe that's something we could work on confirming on our end. But we are continuing to monitor this. You're looking at a live drive cam right now. Looks like you're in the downtown core, maybe over by the convention center. I can't quite tell exactly, or the stadium. I think that's the stadium area right now. But we are continuing to monitor this. About 5 minutes left until this expires, at least the active tornado warning. Erica, do you expect that to be done at 5:45?
Yeah, so the National Weather Service is saying that the shelter, but looks like for the most part right now, the threat, if you're anywhere along the I-95 corridor, you're going to be out of that tornado threat for now. but there's still some storms moving through our area. So although the tornado warning will be allowed to expire, I want you guys to keep an eye on what's going on. Of course, we're going to be tracking it here live across our air as these storms continue to push through our area. So if we take a look at radar, you're seeing that tornado warning right now, but right behind it, there are more storms that are going to be pushing through our area over this evening. So just something to keep in mind. This storm system particularly will be moving over our area, but right behind it, you're seeing more rainfall. And that's what we're going to be keeping an eye on here for the rest of the evening. The severe weather threat continues over our area. We are under a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe storms. The atmosphere is conducive for this, so we could see more severe storms later on this evening as this frontal system, this is a line of storms ahead of a cold front that's going to be pushing through our area. It's really making way for that warm, moist air, and that is conducive for these storms to start to rotate, even produce a lot of lightning, gusty winds. Gusty wind threat will also continue to be an issue throughout the evening. So you may see a storm push through your area and it produce some gusty winds that may knock down some power lines and some trees. So I want you to keep in mind as these storms push through, we may see this Saturday really pretty much a washout as this rain will continue and the severe storm threat will continue across our area. So I want you guys to keep that in mind, but we still have another 4 minutes on this warning.
And Erica, I want to interject. We have officially confirmed Fernandina Beach has canceled their Christmas parade, which was slated to start at 6 p.m. in just a few minutes. That has been canceled. Once again, breaking update, Fernandina Beach has canceled its Christmas parade if you're planning on going out due to this inclement weather we're following, Erica.
Yes, and they're allowing this storm to cancel because the rotation has weakened. So that's what we were watching for as it moved over the St. Johns River, if any further weakening was going to happen. And that definitely happened as it crossed over that area. And so the rotation, not very prevalent with the storm right now, but we're still going to keep an eye on this, especially as it comes closer to Atlantic Beach, Jacksonville Beach, and Ponte Vedra. But either way, if you're in the beaches, head indoors as this will produce a lot of lightning. It'll produce frequent lightning, and lightning is dangerous if you're outdoors in it, and even some gusty winds with some potentially power lines down over this area. So we already saw some of our first cancellation of events already for your Saturday. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more down the line as we're expecting more storms to push through. And you're taking a live look from our Mayport camera there, and the lightning does not stop. It's illuminating the sky. There was a big one there. And this is really what the scene is going to be for the rest of the evening. Not seeing very much rain there, but the lightning as the storm is very close to the Mayport area. As it moves through your area, the low visibilities will continue and you're seeing a very foggy scene there. So warm, moist air is in the atmosphere. It's producing this lightning. It's producing this severe weather threat that will continue throughout the evening. So stay indoors if you can. I know maybe, a lot of events going on that probably won't happen just because of the severe weather threat. So stay inside if you can, at least through the rest of the evening as these storms will continue to push through our area, and they will also produce some pretty heavy rainfall. But you're also noticing the flag there waving around, so gusty winds will also be in our area this evening. So a lot of threats to track, although the tornado warning will be allowed to expire here over the next 2 minutes. I want you to be aware of the lightning and the gusty winds over our area. Again, stay home if you can, stay safe this evening. These storms will really start to pack a punch, and we're going to continue to track them live here as our 6 o'clock newscast will be underway here over the next 20 minutes across our area. So stay tuned and stay with us as we're going to continue to track this live for you. If you're concerned about what's going on in your area, especially as this tornado threat continues for the next 2 minutes, stay with us. But again, the sunset's already happening. This time of year, the sunsets are early, and that's what makes it dangerous for these storms, especially tornado warnings as they push to our area. You're not going to be able to see much this evening. And you're looking a live look at our World Golf Village there, dark, also very dark in Mayport. And even though there's not a lot of rainfall, if you're not seeing rain, you still may see lightning. So that's why if you live anywhere across our Jacksonville area, even to the beaches and just on the west side of Jacksonville, you need to be inside. This lightning, you need to take it seriously. It's illuminating the sky here in Mayport. But for now, looks like the National Weather Service, we still have about a couple more seconds left on this warning, but they're going to allow this warning to expire at 5:45. But you're still under that wind and hail and even lightning risk. So take this storm seriously. It's packing a punch across our area on the east side.
And we're going to send it back to regularly scheduled programming. We'll be back here at 6 o'clock with the latest on the storm coverage. This is a good time to download the Weather Authority app to make sure you know what the radar looks like where you're at. We'll see you back here in about 15 minutes.